So this past Saturday night, my husband and I drove to Centralia, Illinois, which is about 2 hours from where we live in Paducah, Kentucky, and we went to the 34th annual Hot Air Balloon Festival, and it was incredible. It was amazing. It was beautiful, and I'm going to take you there with me. The hot air balloons that traveled to Centralia, Illinois, which is about a 2-hour drive north from where I live in Paducah, Kentucky, there were balloons there that were from Florida, I think, Michigan. They came literally from all over the country. There were more than 40 hot air balloons that came to the festival. So the festival actually happens over several days. We went on a Saturday, kind of late in the day. We arrived about 5 o'clock, and oh my goodness, there were so many people. So this hot air balloon festival happens in a park, but it's a very large park. Tons of green space and trees, and in the middle of the park is this beautiful, they called it the catfish pond. It looked more like a lake if you ask me, but everybody just goes out into the green space, brings their lounge chairs or a blanket, and just has a seat. And it was a lovely, kind of a warm day, a little bit of a breeze, but the sun was starting to go down. And I said to my husband so many times, everybody is just so chill here. There were people of all ages, little kids, older folks, just everybody was just having a ball. You do have to pay $5 to get in, so they gave us armbands, which gave us access to everything that was going on that day. There was a stage set up. They had live music going on. There was a host that, a commentator that would come on and kind of keep you up to speed as to everything that was going to go on that evening, because hot air balloons really can do their thing or not do their thing depending on the weather. And even though it really was a beautiful day, to me there was just a slight breeze. Unfortunately, they were not able to take the balloons up in the air because they said it was just too windy. So at 5:30, all of the balloons were supposed to go up. We waited until about 6:30, and finally they came back and said, just too windy, the balloons cannot go off, but still they kept on with the festival. The music was going, and we decided to get up and browse around the craft vendors and the food trucks. There were more than 100 vendors there. Everything from barbecue to ice cream to nachos, to Cajun food, to burgers, to Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, and ribbon fries, and lemonade, and I mean, oh my goodness, you name it, it was there. Then of course there were a zillion vendors selling a zillion different things. We stopped at a booth called the Licorice Guy. He makes homemade licorice. He had like 6 or 7 different flavors of licorice, and you could sample them all. The regular licorice was pretty good. Randy had the cinnamon, said it was pretty good, but we both loved this blue raspberry, so we bought a package of this and we snacked on this the whole time we were at the festival. But it was time for dinner, so we waited in line at a food truck that was serving fried catfish and fries. Now y'all, you know I live in the South. Fried catfish is one of my favorite things, but it has to be done right. It can be done really bad or it can be done really good, and this food truck was fantastic. Randy and I got 2 pieces of catfish and fries, and we shared it. It was, we both said, the best catfish we think we have ever had. It was crispy, it was seasoned so good, and I gotta say, I am so sorry I did not get a picture of the catfish because we were up moving around. We had our arms full of iced tea and lemonade and french fries and catfish and licorice and napkins. And it's impossible to film anything. So we were eating as we were walking. Totally forgot to get a picture for you guys. So at 7:30, all of the hot air balloons were supposed to glow up. It is called a balloon glow. And this is what I really wanted to see. Randy wanted to see the balloons go up in the air. Got canceled, but I really wanted to see the balloon glow. So this is the first time we've ever been to this hot air balloon festival. So we had no idea what was actually going to go on. So as we were walking back to our chairs that we had set up under a tree in the shade, all of the trucks started just pulling into the park and driving through all the people and setting up their hot air balloons. It was crazy. I guess I thought in my head the balloons were going to be way off in a distance and the people would be kept over here. No, they were just interspersed among all of the people all over the park so that no matter where you were in this park, you had a beautiful view of all the hot air balloons. So it took about an hour or more for each truck to get the basket out of their truck. And then what I thought was amazing, a hot air balloon is just rolled up in this teeny little pouch. It is about the size of my ottoman, if you can see that. So each truck got out a basket, which by the way was so small. You could get 3 people shoulder to shoulder in that basket, and that was it. And then they would dump out of their little case this balloon and unroll it out into this gigantic area. And then there were ropes kind of all over the balloons. So each hot air balloon had a team, and each team had on a matching t-shirts. So you could tell exactly what balloon they were with. So once they got the balloon rolled out, all of the team members got a hold of the ropes and they would blow fans into the balloon to inflate the balloons. So as this was going on, the sun was starting to set. It was absolutely beautiful. The balloons were inflating. They were starting to stand upright, and everywhere you looked, because there were 40 different balloons, you just saw all of these colors. Some of the balloons had animals on it. One had a dog and sunglasses. Another had a dog bone. Some of them were just rainbow colored. It was just truly stunning. So after all of the balloons got totally inflated, people started to get up and mill around, and everybody was taking photos and videos, and there was music going. And that's one of the reasons I could not film in the park and actually talk to you all, because there was a guy on a microphone talking the entire time, or there was music going, which, as you all know, I'm not allowed to share music in YouTube videos because it's against the rules. So I'm filming this now and kind of walking you through it and showing you the videos that I took. So the sun is going down, and what was so cool, they would play really loud music and the balloons would glow to the tune of the music. So you know that song, light it up, light it up, light it up. Well, the balloons would fire up all of these like cannons full of fire, and it would make their balloons glow. And Randy and I were just in the middle of it all. You could feel the heat coming off of these balloons. It was crazy. And apparently when they would pull that rope and the fire would go, they would have to have a couple seconds to let it cool back down before they could do it again, because they couldn't just, like burp, burp, burp on the fire, or the balloon would start to lift off. So this went on for a really long time. They played lots of really cool music, and the balloons would glow and do different things. And then the host of the Balloon Fest, who was up on the stage with the microphone, would say things like, okay, balloon pilots, if this is your first year at the festival, glow your balloon. And so you could look around and see who was the first year there. Then he would say, okay, balloon pilots, if you traveled more than 150 miles to be at the festival, glow your balloon. And then he even said, if you traveled more than 300 miles, glow your balloon. And so as the balloons would glow up, he would call out their name and tell you where they were from. I don't remember where all the balloons were from, but some of them were really far away. We could hear the pilots of the balloons that were right around us talking to the people, because you could walk up and ask them questions. I know one guy said he was from Florida. There was another from New York, I believe, one from Michigan. Crazy. They were talking about how many hours it took them to drive to Centralia, Illinois for the festival, and how many years they'd been coming there. And apparently, because it is such a long running festival, everybody loves it and they just keep coming back. But we had an absolute ball. Now there was one balloon that they had set up kind of at the front of the park that you could pay, I believe it was $10 a person, and you could go up in the balloon, and the balloon was tethered to the ground. You weren't going to like take off, so you would go up a decent distance, wait a minute or two, and they would bring you back down. And that was a paid for event, and it was only the one balloon, which I didn't want to go up in the balloons. So that was fine with me. But once it got really dark and the glow up portion of the festival was over, there was another performer that was going to come out on the stage, but we had a 2-hour drive home, so we ended up packing up and heading out there before the crowd started to leave. But just the whole ride home, Randy and I talked about how pretty it was, how neat it was to see the balloons that up close and personal, and to be able to talk to the pilots and just get information about the balloons. The one question that we had that we actually never got an answer to, because the balloons did get to go up, was when the pilots are up in the air with the balloons, how do they steer them? And are they able to bring them back to the spot where they took off from? Or does the balloon just go and land somewhere, and then the truck has to come pick them up and bring them back? So because we want answers to those questions, and we had such a good time, and the balloons were so pretty, we are going to go back next year. So if you follow me on Instagram, I shared all of this on my Instagram stories. It was just too pretty for me to pass up. And Randy and I took a photograph of ourselves in front of a balloon, and the fire was glowing up the balloon. And I actually made this the screensaver on my cell phone because I loved it so, so much. So if you are within driving distance of Centralia, Illinois, absolutely check out their balloon festival. It happens every year in mid-August. It is so worth the drive, so much fun. And I'll see you all on my next adventure.